So, you guys are in a treat. We're all in a treat. In for a treat. I have a speech impediment, so I say things like that. We are all in for a treat. The other day, I was trying to say naked ladies when I was on stage, and I accidentally said naked ladies. Nice. And all the comics were in the audience, and so they started chanting, naked ladies, bum, 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 bum. Naked ladies, bum, 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 bum. Anyway, it was weird. So anyway, as I was saying... the next comic coming up, he produces this show every single month, multiple times for 60 years. That's how long he's been doing it. So please clap it up for the very funny Doug X.
I knew I was old, but I didn't know I was that old. So I'm 40, and I'm single, so as you might expect, I've gotten really into historical European sword fighting. No, seriously, I've got like 8 swords in my car at this point, which is not bad, except for like, I spent the equivalent of like a month's rent on swords in the past few months, instead of my month's rent. I offered to pay it in swords, my landlord was not okay with that. They almost called the police. But it was okay, because I'm a criminal defense attorney, so it's alright. Like, I know them. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. I had something really strange happen to me. I mean, something just so strange that I'm still dealing with it. I had a police officer do something I've never expected to happen. He told the truth. I had a friend, and he needed some traffic thing taken care of because he was like 10 years old and he couldn't get a license in another state. And so I like went to court for him and stuff. And the officer showed up. The officer showed up, and I said, well, what we always say is, do you have an independent recollection? Because they have to have an independent recollection. What did you do? Oh! What the fuck did you do? Why?
You okay, Nashla? And that, kids, is what we call intermission.
And that's why we don't put it on the table. Just move the table out of the way and just put it against the thing.
Hey, Doug, do you do personal injury, too?
I don't step on your toes. And this is technically at work, so be workers' comp. No. Sarah, move the table.
Yeah.
Move the table out of the way.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I was just bringing your mic up, sir.
Don't do that.
You were tangled up.
I'll live with it. This is obviously much better.
I didn't realize there was going to be a domino effect of chaos.
I don't expect you to realize it. Just don't do anything.
No, I'm out of the way.
Where's the one about if it broke, don't fix it?
Right.
Well, that went well.
Where did we leave off?
Recover from that, sir.
You have no idea what I'm going to do when you're fucking headlining, man. I have got an hour to think of things to fuck with your saying. So, an officer did something I didn't expect him to do, so I asked him, as he has to have an independent recollection, and he said, no, I got no fucking idea. I recognize my handwriting, and that's about it. This is about 12 years ago. Now, you have to understand, a different traffic ticket, I had an officer, and I said, we had actually the trial, and I said to the officer on the trial, everyone's under oath, I said, do you have an independent recollection of what happened? And the officer goes, ah. Now, we've all been in test situations, we call it teachers, when you don't know the answer, but you don't want to lie. We've all made that noise, right? Because you don't want to say no, and you can't say yes. So the judge says, officer, if you look at your notes, I am absolutely certain you'll remember what happened. If that's not clear to you, let me explain what that means in judgeese. Go ahead and commit fucking perjury. It's okay. I got your back. Which I thought was only done at a local level until 51 senators said the same exact thing today. So apparently it's a widespread issue. Referring to the Kavanaugh hearings, if that wasn't clear. Because, yeah, Devil's Triangle is totally a drinking game. you know, when someone passes out. Oh, good. If I can go too dark for Todd, I am happy.
Lovely.
Like, if I go too dark for Richard, that's a whole other level. So, as you might have guessed, I'm an attorney, and I do criminal defense because I'm passionate about something, and that passion is about keeping criminals out of jail. Everybody's got a purpose. And I like it not so much because I really think criminals should not be in jail, but because I always want to make a difference in people's lives. And when you're the only thing standing between you and someone in prison, you are making a difference in their life. And that's just a great feeling, you know, for them, for me, for ego. Right? It's all about ego. And they always have second thoughts when they meet me. They're like, "You're the only standing thing between me and prison? I've made a huge mistake." You know, another huge mistake to whatever got them in trouble in the first place. Now, well, being a lawyer is a profitable, prestigious, reputable profession to have in 2009. Sadly, I graduated in 2010, because what's the secret of comedy? There you go. Yeah, I don't have it in my profession either. So mostly what I do these days is make the world safe for annoying texters. Sometimes it's by restraining orders, because if you text someone 300 times, they can go and get a restraining order against you. So don't do that. But much more importantly, this is some free advice for you. No matter how heartbroken you are, and it's okay to be heartbroken, we've all been heartbroken. No matter how heartbroken you are, it is not okay to text someone, "I'm probably going to murder you."
Damn it.
I know, you're going to, right? Because there's a little statute passed sometime after 2001 called criminal threat, which makes just saying words a threat if there is some unambiguous purpose to it. So that means you got to interject a little ambiguity. So what you need to say is something like, "There's a small but statistically significant probability something absolutely terrible is going to happen to you sometime in the next 3 years."
Can you repeat that so I can write it down?
Sure. There's a small but statistically significant probability something absolutely terrible is going to happen to you sometime in the next 3 years. Or, if you want to get a little more esoteric, a little more recherché, a little more arcane, you might say something like, "Your existence resembles that of Schrodinger's cat, vis-a-vis our recent breakup." Now, I know that would be a terrible text to get, but you would have to admire the style and the craftsmanship of that. And so I told that at a bar, because I was at a bar doing comedy once, and two girls were hanging on my every word, and that never happened, so it was special. And when I said that, they said, "Really?" Like I was giving out very specific legal advice that you rely on. And I said it's arguable. Because that's what lawyers say, right? It's either it's arguable or there's no fucking way. So like people ask me, you know, "Hey, if I point a shotgun in the general direction of my girlfriend's baby daddy, is that assault with a firearm?" And I say it's arguable. And they say, "Can I get a refund for this consultation?" No fucking way. That's a surety. That is not happening. So, you know, LA is, you know, shallow. LA is pretty fucking shallow. But I mean, it's not Orange County shallow, but it's pretty fucking shallow. And I think there's a tendency to judge ourselves by how attractive the person we're dating is, right? You look out, you say you're dating a supermodel, I got this life thing figured out. No! That is a terrible way to judge yourself. Not because it's immoral or shallow, that's fine. Deep down where it counts, we're all pretty shallow. No, this is about it's inaccurate. It's a wildly inaccurate way to judge yourself. What you need to do is judge yourself by the guy the girl you're with leaves you for.
Yeah.
That tells you where you are. She leaves you for some screenwriter who just got a screenplay bought, just got $1 million. You're punching your weight, you're in the fight, you're doing okay. she leaves you for a homeless drug dealer, you, my friend, have some work to do. Full disclosure.
It is Mothra.
What?
Mothra just entered the building.
Oh, was there a moth?
No, it was Mothra.
Everything's invading your set tonight.
Big bug.
Well, it's going to be attracted to the light. We got two big lights, so. What was it?
The moth just saw your light.
Happiness is a bug zapper? Happiness draws you in and then zaps you. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Karen, what are you saying about comedy as a one-way conversation? Because I would fucking love to have that happen just once. My actual conversations are more one-way conversations than my comedy. Honest Doug, friend to all the world. Seriously, one-way conversation, my ass. As I was saying, is that if you've been left for a homeless drug dealer, you've got work to do. Full disclosure, I've been left for a homeless drug dealer.
No.
Yet more complete disclosure, I've been left twice for a homeless drug dealer. Now, don't get me wrong, not the same homeless drug dealer just following me around saying, Doug's got a new girl. Sweet. Keeps bringing them around. No, two separate girls, two separate homeless drug dealers. Because that's my life. Anyway, so being me and being LA shallow. When I was coming back from Portland, I went there and I went to the ticket counter, I sent a ticket to LA, and the guy said, you know, is that where you're going? I'm like, yeah, that's where you go when you're dead inside. And he goes, really? Is everybody dead inside there? I'm like, what helps? And I left the ticket counter thinking, man, I'm funny. Because he didn't talk back the way my audiences do. But then about 5 minutes later, I realized how absolutely terrible a decision that was. I more or less told the guy, book me a one-way trip, not round trip, I'm not coming back. Me and the plane are landing at the same time, prematurely. Because I'm dead inside and I don't care if I live or die. So, but luckily, with a little bit of exercise of white privilege, I was fine. But then I got to the security gate and the freaking 20-foot tall cancer machines, I like to call them. And the guy is like, just go in there. And I'm like, I'm very concerned about the radiation. He goes, it's fine. It's just radio waves, just like your cell phone. That should be concerning to you people. Because that means he doesn't know how those machines work, doesn't know how your cell phone works, and probably doesn't have a great idea how radio waves work. That's a trifecta of ignorance. Trifecta of ignorance. And so I'm the first person I've ever known who volunteered for extreme pat-down. And so, you know, and people talk about those being very extremely uncomfortable. They feel like they've been somewhat violated. And I'm like, that's not thinking. You can turn that shit around. So I took off my jacket, and I was wearing the smallest of sleeveless shirts and the thinnest of sweatpants. And that guy's eyes got wide. He gave me the shortest extreme pat-down in history. It was an optical scan. He looked me up, he looked down, you're fine. Just walk on through. So it's all about creatively, okay? That's how you can reverse power in a situation. All right, with that little bit of legal advice and fun, all right, here's Zara Khan with Back of the MC.